All right, so in this video, I'm just gonna go over 4 simple and easy tricks that you can use to help you out on the math portion of the Asvab. Math portion is pretty important because that's gonna be a part of your AFQT, which is gonna dictate whether or not you're even eligible to join the military. And a lot of people are bad at math and that really lowers their score. So with these 4 little tricks, it should help you out, get the problems done a little bit easier, a little bit faster. And since you can't use a calculator and you can only use scratch paper, this will be a good way to verify that your answer is right. So the first thing we're gonna go over is lattice multiplication. So we'll just come up with a random equation. So we'll do 67 and we'll multiply that times 132. So most people will see this and they'll panic because they'll see it's a 2-digit number multiplied by a 3-digit number, and that's not one you can do easily in your head. But with this method, it'll go quickly and you'll make sure your answer is right. So what you want to do is you have a 2-digit number and a 3-digit number. So you want to make a 2x3 box, and you can make it as big or as small as you need to. So we're gonna have 3 columns and 2 rows. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a lattice, which is just a line going from the top right side of the box to the bottom left side. And as you can see, we're gonna have it slightly outside of the box. So then once that's set up, we're gonna take our numbers and we're gonna put them next to the applicable boxes. So we've got the 2-digit number here, so we're gonna put it next to the row. Then we've got the 3-digit number up here and we're gonna put it to the columns. Okay, so now instead of one big equation, we have 6 smaller equations. So we're just gonna use those boxes to do each equation. So the first one is gonna be 1 times 6. So each of these numbers is gonna have to be a double-digit number. So if you have a single number, like so 1 times 6, we're only gonna get 6. For the first box, you'll put a 0, and then for the second box, put a 6. So now we have 6 times 3, which is gonna be 18, and 6 times 2, which is 12. All right, then we're gonna do the bottom row. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these numbers and we're gonna add all the numbers that are in each row. So all the numbers in this row, they're gonna be added together. All the numbers in this row, they're gonna be added together, and all the numbers in this row. And then we'll do 8 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7, 18. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that 8 there, but we're gonna take the 10 and add it to the next one. So we've got 6 plus 1, that's 7, but then we're gonna add this one down here, we've got 8. So the answer to this, 8,844. And all we did, take these numbers at the bottom, and that's gonna be our answer. So now the cool thing with this is it makes multiplying decimals a lot easier too. So some people, they'll see decimals and they might panic because it's not a full number and you're gonna get a weird number afterwards. And most people, they can't do it in their heads. I can't do it in my head. So a good way to do this, we'll come up with an equation again. So we'll say 22.7 multiplied by 132.1. We're gonna do the same thing that we did with the last equation, but now we've got a 3-digit number with a 4-digit number. So now we're gonna have to do a 3x4 box. And the neater your boxes are, the easier it's gonna be. Same thing, we're gonna start making our lines from the top right to the bottom left. All right, then we're gonna insert our numbers. Now what we'll do is we'll add in our decimal place. We have 132.1, so we have 132, and we're gonna put our decimal place right on this line. Same thing with 22, we got 22.7, so we'll put it right on this line. And we'll just leave that for now, and we'll do all of our equations. All right, so we did all of our multiplications, pretty easy. And again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add everything in the same row. So this is the number that we got. We just added all these rows. This number right here was 19. So we put the 9 there, took the 1 and put it up to the next one and added that. But this isn't our finished answer yet. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna find where our decimal place is supposed to be for this answer. So what we'll do is we're gonna start right up here at the top. We'll go until we hit our decimal. So our first decimal is right here, right between the 2 and the 1. Then we'll drop down until we hit our next decimal. which is going to be right here between the 2 and the 7. That's why you want to put it on the lines. Make sure you know when you hit it. Then once you hit that, you want to follow the diagonal line all the way to the end. So right there, and that's where our decimal is going to be. Our final answer is going to be 2,998.67. It might take a little bit longer, but it's going to make it a little bit easier, and you know you got the right number. So the next thing we're going to go over is lattice division. For lattice division, let's come up with a problem. 126 divided by 4. So we've got 126 divided by 4. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this 3-digit number and we're gonna make 3 boxes. But instead of making the boxes side by side, what we're gonna do is make them diagonal to each other. And again, it's better to be neater. And then for our lattices, same thing, we're gonna go top right to bottom left. But for these ones, you don't want to go outside the box. And now we'll take our 3-digit number and we'll put the numbers at the top of each of these boxes. Now, we're going to take our single-digit number and we're going to put it in this box, this first box. And so same thing like with lattice multiplication. Now, instead of one big number we're dividing, we've just got smaller equations. So what we're going to do, we're going to divide 1 by 4 first. And we know that 4 can't go into 1. So it's going to go in there 0 times. So up here, you're going to put how many times this number goes into this number. We know it's 0, so we're going to put 0 there. And our remainder is going to go in the bottom box. It goes in 0 times, so we still got 1 left over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this number here, and we're going to do 4 divided by 12. We know that's 3. So that's 3. There is no remainder after that. So we'll have the 0 there. Then what we'll do is 6 divided by 4, and we know it goes in 1 time with a remainder of 2. What we're going to do is we're going to take these numbers in the top boxes, and that's going to be our answer. So we'll have 31 with this number down here. This is going to be our remainder. So we can put this remainder over this number here. We'll have 2 over 4, which is also 31 1/2. So next, we're going to do another one that's probably a little bit intimidating for some people. This one is going to be finding the percent of a number. So I'll show you 2 ways for this. The first one is pretty simple. So let's find 30% of 140. All right. So what is 30% of 140? So what we're going to do is we're going to change this 30 into a decimal. So percent just means of 100. So all you have to do, 30 is 30 over 100, and that'll just be a decimal 30. So all you have to do is take this percentage and add it to the front. And then this of here, that's going to be a multiplier since we're trying to find 0.30 or 30% of 140 is. So we're going to be multiplying that, and then we're just going to bring down our 140. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to add a decimal to the 140. So all whole numbers are going to end in a decimal. And after it, it's just 0 repeating. So you can do as many zeros as you want. It's not going to change the number. And the reason we do that is because we want to make it a little bit easier where we don't have to really deal with this decimal here because it's annoying. I don't like it. We're going to do multiply by 10. So instead of 0.30, we're going to have 3.0, which is also known as 3. And then we have to do the same thing to the other number, but instead of multiplying it, we're going to have to divide it. So now we're going to take this decimal and we're going to bring it up, and that's going to be 14. So then we'll bring it down. So we've got 3 times 14, and that's a much easier equation to work with. And we know that's 42. And if you need to write it out, you would just do 14, 14, 14. Then we're going to add 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12, bring the 1 up, 42. And the second way, which is going to be a little bit harder, so say we want to find 38% of 157. That's a much harder number to work with. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did with our last equation. We're going to bring this 38 and we're going to turn that into a decimal. We're going to turn the of into a multiplier, and then we're going to just bring down this 157. Not even going to worry about moving the decimal on this one because we're just going to use the lattice multiplication. 2-digit number, 3-digit number. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our numbers. What you want to do is you want to take this and add that decimal there. Then we'll take our 3-digit number. Then we've got that imaginary decimal point there, so our decimal points are going to be right there. Now we're going to do the math. And now, so we've got our whole number. But what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna take this right here. Since both of these are already on the same line, we're gonna run until we meet our decimal point, which is right here. And then we don't move anywhere else because both decimal points are right there. So we're gonna follow this diagonal line. And we're gonna take our number, 59.66. All right, so that's gonna be our answer right there. The lattice method and this method is really gonna help you when it comes to those weird numbers, so you're not gonna get nervous when you see them. So in the last one, we found out what the percentage of a total number was, but in this one, we're gonna try and find the percentage of an unknown number. So let's make an equation, 30% of what number? So we don't know this number is equal to 260. We're trying to figure out 30% of what number is equal to 260. So what we'll do is we'll make this into an equation now. So we'll take that 30% and we know all we need to do is turn that into a decimal. And then we know that of is gonna be multiplying, and we don't know what this number is. So now we've got our equation, which is 0.30 times unknown number equals 260. So obviously this is gonna be a tough one to do since we don't know that number. But what we can do is flip this and do a reciprocal. The way we're gonna do that is we're gonna divide by 0.3, and we're gonna do that to both sides. And so what that does is it's gonna make the equation unknown number is equal to 260 divided by 0.3. And the reason we're able to do that is because when we divide this side by 30, it's gonna take away this 30 up here. But once we divide this side by 30, it's gonna add the 30. So now what we can do with this is we can do exactly what we did with our last ones. We're gonna multiply this by 10, and that's gonna make that 3. And we're gonna multiply this by 10, and we're gonna add a 0. So now what the problem is gonna become is 2,600 divided by 3. If it's a weird number that you get, we can just go back and do the lattice math. So we've got the single digit number, which is 3, and then we've got our 4-digit number, so we're gonna make 4 squares. We know our answer is gonna be 866 with the remainder of 2/3. And our remainder is gonna be right there, and that's how you get it. All right, so I hope that video helped y'all out, helped you get a couple more points on your Asvab. Let me know how it works out for you guys. If the video helped, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll have some more videos coming. The informative video is not all about the Asvab, just things about the military and things like that. So stay tuned for that, and that's it.